What's up, YouTube? It is me, your boy DragonMasters525, and today we are going to be doing some concept art for a game dev. I'm also going to have this as a pseudo tutorial, so if anyone ever has questions or looks back at this vlog, welcome to my stream. And if you guys need help learning anything digitally or traditionally, definitely let me know because I can walk you through the process. So, first things first, stream's officially not opened. Let's change the music real quick because I'm not really vibing with this type of music here at the moment. Alright, so we are going to be doing concept art. So pretty much, my role in this project that I'm currently working on is I'm going to be helping a game dev develop a game. So pretty much I'm like almost like the lead art director, which honestly is kind of like a lot of pressure, but you know, we still have to do what we have to do. So first up, I normally wouldn't do white whenever I'm making concepts. I really prefer having like a gray skin, like a darker gray, right? Whenever I tend to do like concepts, I would normally start off with like gray because it helps like colors pop. But if I was to do it on white, like it's still contrasting, but it still kind of feel like a little bit hard to see. But we're only going to be doing quick sketches right now before we start doing refinement. I really like line work a lot, so there's a couple things. There's a couple different ways we can go about this concept design process. And for anyone who's still new to the stream and is wondering what I'm using specifically, I'm using a mix between mouse and keyboard, and the drawing tablet that I have is called the UG M708 graphics drawing tablet. You can get it on Amazon for like $30–40. I got it when it was 30, so normally I would go with this pen right here, but because this is like an initial sketch, I don't really care about refining or making everything look pretty. I just want to jot down stuff as quickly as possible, the first things that come into my head. Most people, when they start to do concept art for anything, whether it's a comic, a video game, they tend to get intimidated by this process because they believe that they have to refine their concept super early on. But all it really is just regurgitating everything that you like, that you want in the concept, and refining that layer by layer, unironically enough. So the first concept that I'm going for this idle game that I'm working for in this dev is I'm in charge of the character. So I've been thinking about this for a couple of days, and I think I wanted a character that is very I want like a round head, right? I'm thinking like a robot, and I want like basic shapes, something that is not too overly detailed, right? Stuff that I can like easily draw, because it's all about repetition, especially if I'm doing some kind of animation, right? So give them kind of like a neck. I don't like the actual pencil. Let's go with like a mechanical pencil. Oh yeah, this is way better. Alright, so pretty much when you start building a character, right, and this is something that I had to learn over the course of like 5 or 6 years very slowly, is that you have to start off with basic shapes, right? You don't have to do that if you're like higher intermediate to like professional, but even though I put myself in the professional category because I've been doing like commissions for a very long time, I still go through this process because it helps with the refinement. So what I'm thinking is I want this guy, let's do text. I'll literally label all the stuff that I'm thinking. Normally I wouldn't type, I would just kind of go in there, but because, you know, there's people watching watching and stuff like that. I want to show you guys the actual process, just in case anyone is like interested in this kind of career path or want to attempt their hand at doing commission work in this sort of fashion. So let's label off some things that I want for this character. This character is definitely a robot, right? Orange is the color that I really want, and I want like an LED screen for eyes, right? I want it kind of stumpy, so like stumpy legs, arms, etc. Some things that I want to show is front view, side view, any like view, I guess you would say, just like any viewpoint, any way you would look at it. I want characteristics. I suck at selling, but any characteristics. This includes stuff like happy, sad, any emotion, etc. Another thing that I really wanted the concept is knickknacks. I'm just gonna type in knickknacks. So that includes things to the design that would help, like antennas, battery packs, accessories, etc. You understand? So yeah. So I put this over here. And remember, the text is something you don't have to do. I'm just doing it for the sake of this fucking live stream. But yeah. So pretty much, gotta turn this into a robot. So when I'm doing this design, right, what I had in mind is some kind of view. I want robot legs to be kind of like stumpy and have like a rectangle base shape, right? Stubby arms, right? Nothing too crazy. So here's a very, very rough. Let's put him like this. Make him smaller. So pretty much, like, I want this overall shape, but I don't like the way the main body is like. So I'm gonna start putting him in poses, right? If we were to start, for example, if we were to start making poses, right? Fuck, I gotta do like another layer. So if we're gonna start making poses, I want him on a plane. Rotate this, it's like a diamond. So this is kind of like a base plane. This would help a lot, because then I could just start putting it kind of like into perspective. Like I said, this is like totally unnecessary, but I'm using this just to kind of show like how to go about certain things. And my perspective is like fucking ass, man. This line is crooked. There we go. Something's crooked here. It's this right here. Oh, whatever. Bring this down. It's a really shitty grid, but you know what? I'm not really complaining. Actually, no, we're gonna get rid of this grid. Fuck it. We're just gonna go into the concept. So, robot. There's a couple robot designs I have in mind. So we're gonna start off with circles. These are gonna be just kind of like the different faces, right? Different faces. So we're gonna start off with the first one. We can probably start off with a more circular head. So what I was thinking for this head is that make it a little bit more oval. how are robot eyes? So if I was to do this without a reference, right, I want some kind of unique design that will kind of show only its face, right? So what I would do is I would probably add like a rectangle, right, something like this, and I would build on on top of that. So like I'd probably add like extra features that that make this kind of like unique. And pretty much like don't be afraid to experiment and just kind of like do stuff, right? Because art is all about experimentation, right? So we got like a basic robot face going. We can even probably fill this up just to kind of show. Oh my god. Gotta close this off. There's something. Oh, okay. There's something open right now. Yeah. Is this still going like that? All right. We'll just have to color this in manually. Remember, you don't want to spend a lot of time. Like, I'm not trying to refine it. I'm just trying to do concepts that I can refine later. So this is just like quick shading, right? Very quick shading. And for robotic body parts, I've noticed that like everything is very even, and everything's based off shapes. So if I was to add to this, right, I'd keep the eyes, I would keep this kind of design for its face, kind of like an LED screen, and I would add stuff to it. For example, I'd add probably like a half circle, like here, make it look like it's more like robotic, kind of like earmuffs, but not. Get rid of something. This off to the side. And from here, now I can start kind of building and adding stuff to it. So we got our main circle, we got two semicircles, kind of like earmuffs or something like that. We can add probably like a line here to make it look like a panel with bolts. Right, we can add a line probably going from like the top all the way to the bottom. Right, we can add probably some bolts. I don't want to make it too busy. We can also probably add another panel up here. This will probably, I'm just gonna do this black for now, but I would obviously like color this in, make it look like a stripe, or make it look like a panel, really depending on like what I want, right? So it's looking a little bit more like robo-like, right? I would probably add a little bit of a neck, right? I like necks, not like that, but I like my characters to just have some kind of neck. I just don't like no neck characters, dude. So I'd probably add like a neck like that. I could probably add like a box up top, right, to make it look like it's like something sticking out of his head, and then I could probably add kind of like an antenna, like something like that. I'll color the box in up top because, you know, do some cross hatching. But you got like a concept like this, right? And what we could do is we take this. That's our first robot head. And honestly, now looking at it, we could honestly just use one circle as a base for everything. So we realistically don't need this. We don't need this. have our head, we kind of have like a basic shape on what I want my character to look like, so I honestly don't even need the body either. So we got like one head. We'll hide this for now. We'll lock it so we don't fuck with it. Now, next robot head. Next robot head could be pretty cool. We had a circular one, so let's have like a more like a box one. Now I'm only gonna do front-facing views for this one, which I think front-facing is like probably the hardest profile. I fell into this trap when I was a beginner artist, but when I first started, I did a lot of first-person profiles, and first-person profiles are pretty hard because you need to like be even, unless your character has some kind of deformality. You have to have pretty much everything kind of like somewhat even. You know what I'm saying? So we have our head, our long box head. So I'm gonna add 2 more boxes to the side just to give it more volume to make it look a little bit more low body. I can even probably do like a second one, you know. And what I can do, I'll block this out just so we can have some kind of contrast because it's just all sketch lines. I could probably give this guy a mouth. He can have a mouth. It could be mouthless. It could be a digital LP mouth. Like, there's so many things that we can do with this concept right now. Also, if you guys have any suggestions on what you guys want to see how the concepts are, like if you want to see your concept and my art style put together, definitely recommend stuff in the chat. So this robot, I'll probably do the same thing because I want to keep this kind of motif that like the eyes are like the only thing that's kind of glowing, and everything I'm doing is going to be translated to 8-bit art. So that's pretty much like what's inspiring me to kind of like make a more simplified design. I want it to be as simple and easy as possible, but with some characteristics. So like I could add a box right here, right, and he could just be like a robot like this, right, standard fucking robo. But I think I really like the whole not having a mouth feature. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just add plating to this guy's face. And instead of having bolts on each corner, because the way it works, I think the way I'm understanding metal is that like you got your plate, right? And then when you have another plate, when they go together, right? The way I'm understanding this is like when you have a piece of metal and you have a second piece of metal and you're trying to put it together, you need to weld and bolt it. Alright, so this will, I'm assuming like, let's pretend we have like a welder. This would be like the weld right here, and then there'd be like bolts as close to the edge as possible to kind of bolt it together, right? But I feel like it looks too messy having too many bolts, so having bolts in the corner, I feel like kind of makes sense. Make it looks like it's on top of something. So, with that in mind, I'm thinking instead of having a bolt here, bolt here, a bolt here, bolt here, I'm just gonna have one big bolt. I'm gonna do a plus symbol because, you know, when you look at a screw, like, or a nail, no, it's a screw. When you look at a screw, right, a Phillips head looks kind of like an X or like that, and then you have like, pretend it's like swirled, or I mean, I could make it swirled, but kind of be like something like that, and then the screwdriver would be like, it's like a very shitty screwdriver, but you kind of get the point. So like this would go into like the slots, and then you're able to kind of just like do whatever you want with it. So I'm gonna add like this pattern to probably add 2 lines here to make it look like kind of like a pinstripe. I'll do cross hatching for this one, just so it doesn't blend with the black. And we could probably add like 2 curves, make it look like it has eyes or something like that. This is more human feature, right? It looks like it's a cheekbone. But I'm going to use it for the robot because I wanted to give it a really unique idea. And then I'm also going to keep, I really like the antenna from the last design, so like I really want to play around with that and see what I can do. So this one was kind of crooked, right? I think for this one I'm just going to have like a dot up here. This guy's face looks like this. Just that kind of face. I'm gonna add a neck too, because I like necks on my robots. Was we doing like an alien-like design or a robot without a neck? Like I'm always gonna add a neck to my robot. See. So we got 2 robot faces right now. Like I said, we're just gonna keep putting them in first-person perspective. We're not gonna get fancy and change the perspective yet until I choose the design, and then I can go more in depth with it. Fucking that random ass pixel right there. Okay, so here we can actually use guidelines. So the way a normal human face would be, eyes here, right? Ears, I think top of the ears should be where the eyes would be, right? Matching the eyes. 2/3 down, so like right here, nose, pretty much where the chin would be, where you think the chin would be, mouth would be under, and then the bottom part would be like the end of the chin, right? So like your chin would be like right here. Then you can add like eyebrows. This is a really long chin, normally wouldn't do this, but you know, I can also change the mouth too, but pretty much like something like that. So this design, I'm gonna make it a little bit more rounded. I'm gonna add a mouth to this one because I haven't really, even though I don't want a mouth, I still want to see what it looks like with some kind of like robotic mouth, right? Gonna make the eyes just kind of like a little bit more more like that. Let me see, what would be now there's something weird about this concept that I'm just not vibing with. I think no mouth is really good for now. side. Maybe like add another panel down here. Kind of separate all this together. I'm gonna add a neck. Also gonna shade this too because I want this to not be like blending too much in with like the main design. Also probably add to this too. I really like the antenna look, but more paneling. Give it a thicker antenna up here. Maybe leave it wide in the middle to show that it's kind of like glowing. See, we could go for a triangle based head this time. I think a triangle based head would be pretty cool. I have a sketchbook here with some old robot concepts. Let me see if I can pull something from my sketchbook. The rest of my sketchbook is in my bigger backpack. Let me see what we got here to play with. Concept from my sketchbook. You'll see right here. I'm gonna pretty much like one-to-one recreate it. So this one's gonna be like a skinnier head. This one, unfortunately, I haven't made like a first-person view for it, so I'm just gonna. Small eye up here, right? If I can just jot this down as fast as possible, and then bigger eye within the middle. Kind of like one of these, like kind of like a bar in the back of his head, just because like I feel like it makes it more robotic. now that you see that we're starting to play around with a little bit more concepts, I'm leaning more towards this concept that I really like. Man, I need some rap going. Let me go to my personal mix. Oh, switching my music real quick. I want some rap. I feel like rap kind of helps me focus a little bit. We're gonna let this playlist that I have just play from here. Also, if you guys are really enjoying the stream, enjoying the art process and taking on this knowledge, definitely throw a like, comment. It's perfectly free. Helps pushing me into the algorithm and finding similar like-minded artists or people that want to learn, have more exposure to my channel. Helps out a lot more than what you think.